In the small Yorkshire town of Pontefract, there's a house shrouded in terror, a place so haunted it earned the title of Britain's most violent poltergeist. But this was no ordinary haunting. This was the story of the Black Monk of Pontefract, a vengeful entity tied to a dark, bloody history stretching back centuries. But who or what was this Black Monk? And why did its wrath descend on an unsuspecting family in the 1960s? Tonight, we peel back the layers of history and horror to uncover the truth behind one of the UK's most chilling paranormal tales. It all started in August 1966, when Joe and Jean Pritchard moved into the home with their two children, 15-year-old Philip and 12-year-old Diane. Their lives seemed ordinary, happy even, until strange things began to occur. The first incident took place during a family visit. Joe's mother-in-law, Sarah, was staying at the house while the Pritchards were on holiday. One afternoon, she noticed an odd, fine layer of white powder falling from mid-air in the living room. Puzzled, she tried to locate the source, but no explanation could be found. Then, as Sarah cleaned up the mysterious powder, the room turned icy cold. Suddenly, a loud crash came from the kitchen. Rushing to investigate, she discovered puddles of water forming on the floor. But the taps were dry. Unnerved, Sarah called in neighbors for help, but the water kept appearing, seemingly out of nowhere. The strange events stopped just as suddenly as they began, leaving Sarah baffled. When the Pritchards returned home, they dismissed the incident as a one-off occurrence. But the house had other plans. In the days and weeks that followed, the activity in the house intensified. At first, it seemed like the typical pranks of a mischievous spirit. Lights flickered on and off, furniture moved on its own, and strange knocking sounds echoed through the walls. Objects began disappearing and reappearing in odd places, sometimes right in front of the family's eyes. But what started as harmless disturbances soon turned sinister. Heavy breathing and growling noises filled the house at night. Family members reported feeling as though they were being watched, even when alone. The temperature in certain rooms would drop suddenly, leaving them shivering with fear. The most terrifying experiences were reserved for young Diane. On several occasions, she awoke to find herself being dragged from her bed by invisible hands. Dark bruises appeared on her arms and legs, as if she had been physically attacked. Jean, Diane's mother, watched in horror as unseen forces pulled her daughter up the staircase by her hair. The turning point came when the family began seeing a dark, shadowy figure in the house. It appeared as a tall man dressed in a black hooded robe with no discernible features. The family dubbed it the Black Monk. Paranormal investigators later connected the figure to the site's grim history. The house stood near the ruins of an old gallows where, centuries earlier, a monk was reportedly hanged for the brutal murder of a young girl. According to legend, the monk's spirit lingered in the area, filled with rage and a thirst for vengeance. This connection only deepened the Pritchards' fear. They tried everything to rid themselves of the Black Monk. Priests were brought in to bless the house, but their prayers seemed to provoke the entity further. Holy water was thrown around the rooms, only for the activity to escalate. The poltergeist began hurling objects with greater force, smashing glasses and picture frames. Once a heavy cabinet was pushed across the floor with such power it left deep gouges in the wood. Word of the haunting spread through Pontefract, attracting curiosity and skepticism in equal measure. Neighbors and visitors reported witnessing the strange events firsthand. A family friend once claimed to have been slapped by an invisible hand while sitting in the kitchen. On another occasion, guests watched as a chandelier swung wildly without any wind or physical disturbance. However, not everyone believed the Pritchards' account. Some accused them of fabricating the story for attention, while others suggested they were imagining things. Yet the sheer volume of eyewitness testimony made it difficult to dismiss the haunting entirely. The activity at 30 East Drive eventually subsided, seemingly on its own. By the early 1970s, the Pritchard family reported fewer disturbances, though they never felt entirely free of the Black Monk's presence. Diane, in particular, carried the trauma of the haunting for years. Even as an adult, she refused to speak of her experiences in the house, saying only that she wished to forget the horrors she had endured. But the story of the Black Monk didn't end with the Pritchards. Decades later, the house remains a hotbed of paranormal activity. Visitors who dare to step inside have reported feeling sudden chills, hearing disembodied whispers, and even seeing shadowy figures darting through the rooms. Some claim the spirit has grown quieter over the years, while others insist it's merely lying in wait. The true nature of the Black Monk remains a mystery. Was it the spirit of the hanged monk, as legend suggests? Or was it something darker, an ancient force drawn to the fear and chaos it could inflict? Paranormal experts have debated whether the entity was truly malevolent or simply misunderstood. Yet for the Pritchards, there was no doubt. Whatever haunted 30 East Drive was capable of unimaginable terror. Today, 30 East Drive is a paranormal hotspot, attracting ghost hunters, skeptics, and thrill seekers from around the world. The house has been featured in documentaries, books, and television shows, cementing its place in the annals of Britain's most chilling ghost stories. Some visitors leave convinced they've encountered the supernatural. Others leave with more questions than answers. But one thing is certain. The Black Monk of Pontefract has left a mark on history, and its legend shows no signs of fading.